Hey teachers, I hope all is well. Hope you had a great weekend. This time I'd like to introduce to you the new instructional focus that we're going to focus on and embark upon over the course of the next 2 weeks. And that focus is on learning systems in your classroom. And so there's one particular learning system that I would like to introduce you to, and hopefully you've heard of it or you have potentially used it in your learning environments or in your classroom, and that is Bloom's Taxonomy. And so as we begin to look at these learning focuses, or as we begin to look at this learning system, there's 3 questions that's going to drive the work that's going to really push instruction in your classroom this week, or the course of the next 2 weeks. That first question is, how do students learn in your classroom? And so, of course, hopefully by this point of the school year, you've been able to be really intentional in your instruction. Hopefully you've been following along this pedagogy as we have kind of shifted our instruction every 2 weeks. The second question is, how is learning organized in your classroom? And the third question is, how do students demonstrate their learning in your classroom? So how do students learn in your classroom? How is learning organized? And then how do students demonstrate that learning? And so as we begin to kind of look at that Bloom's Taxonomy model, there are 6 tier steps to that model. And so when you get this video, there'll be a link, and there'll also be some information kind of walking you through it. And so that first link is like, how do we get kids to recall and recollect information? So step 1 is remember. How do we get kids to remember information? How do we get kids to basically make it stick? Step 2 is, how do we get kids to understand what it is that we're asking them to remember? Step 3, once they remember it, once they understand it, now how do we make that skill or that knowledge applicable, or how do we get students to apply that knowledge in the grand scheme of what you're teaching? Number 4, once they apply that knowledge, now how are they able to analyze that knowledge? Like, how are they able to disaggregate that knowledge to be able to kind of figure out like how this knowledge is applicable and what it means for them moving forward? The 5th tier is evaluate. That means like judging the information. Like, how am I able to now evaluate the information just to kind of see like how I can use it here and there, depending upon like where the instruction goes. And the last step of Bloom's Taxonomy is create. And that's where you come into play. So in addition to the teaching part, now we figure out like, how can kids create me something to help me realize that they know this information? So let me walk you back through it really fast. So tier 1 is remember. Have they remembered the information? Tier 2, do they understand the information? Tier 3, can they apply the information? Tier 4, can they analyze the information? Tier 5, can they evaluate the information? And tier 6, can they create something that lets me know that they have a fun or a profound understanding of the information presented? So the learning questions: how do students learn in your classroom? How is learning organized in your classroom? And how do students demonstrate that they have learned the information that you have taught them? And so again, the next couple weeks we'll really be looking at learning systems. If you have another learning system that seems to kind of work or seems to kind of encompass like what I'm saying, that's fine. And if you do, I would like you to share it with me. But if not, I'd like you to take a close look at this Bloom's Taxonomy model. It is absolutely amazing. And what's amazing about it is by the time you emphasize these 6 tiers, you would have been able to kind of evaluate and assess what level the students understand and also what level that they don't understand, which will also serve as a component of data-driven instruction, which will drive your instruction to instruct on things that the students don't know versus reteach things that they do know. So again, instruction focus of the week, learning systems, Bloom's Taxonomy. If you have any questions about anything, please reach out to me, and I'm looking forward to kind of seeing this model implemented and in action in your classroom this week. All right, thanks a lot. Have a great week.